Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Johnny K. I'm coming back with another product review. Today we have the Rough Country Defender Pocket Fender Flares for Toyota Tundra from year ranges of 2014 to 2021. If you have a Toyota Tundra that is in that generation, if you're interested in Fender Flares, these just might be the ones for you. So let's just dive right in. We are at the Rough Country website. We are working with a price here of $349.95 if you would prefer to have them stay exactly the way that they are in that flat black, which looks just fine in my opinion. Or if you would prefer to have Rough Country paint the Fender Flares for you to match the specific paint code of your vehicle, they can do that as well. It is $250 for all of these different paint codes. All right, unfortunately for me, I have the Sunset Bronze Mica exterior paint. That code is not available, at least not for these Fender Flares. I'm not worried because I just prefer them to stay in the flat black anyways. Okay, so let's go ahead and blow up these manufacturer photos here. So you've got your 4 flares here. You have these mounting brackets that will be used only in the front of the vehicle, will not be used in the rear. You have your mounting hardware. You have your strictly for show rivets that will go in the holes here, and then you have your protective gasket that goes on the inside of the flares that is supposed to help with paint, or with paint protection, excuse me, but it really doesn't. There is a method that you can use in combination with this that will help protect your paint, but just using this alone, be aware, it's not really going to protect your paint, and it will rub it, potentially causing some pretty significant damage. Okay, but we will definitely get more into that. All right, so this is just these are some photos of what the flares will look like when they are properly installed. What attracted me to these is these little indentations here. Those are just things you don't really see on other Fender Flares. And I thought it was kind of cool. So I went ahead and said, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and get these. You know, I was attracted to the look. Every once in a while, I get attracted to looks as opposed to overall price. This is a pretty steep price for Fender Flares, especially for the Tundras. You can go on eBay, you can go on Amazon. Now, granted, they are very generic Fender Flares, and they're by companies that most people have never even heard of, but from what I understand, they still work, and they still work just fine, and they are very, very cheap. I even considered the Tiger Fender Flares, T-Y-G-E-R, because I have some Tiger products on my truck as well. But ultimately, again, I was just attracted to the style of the indentations in the flares here. So that's why I decided to purchase. Okay, so overviews. Again, I don't go through all this. I feel like it's just it's repetitive, it's redundant. I don't want to waste anyone's time with that type of thing. You can go to the Rough Country site to read that if you want. This is what I care about most, and this is what most consumers will care about as well. So it says low gloss black CORAD UV protected. I do not know what CORAD means. I'm assuming it just means it's the type of plastic that they use. 2 inches of extra tire coverage, protects vehicle from on and off-road debris. Installation hardware included, no drill installation with tough corrosion-resistant hardware. Unpainted flares include a UV-protected CORAD low-gloss cap to keep them looking new for years, and a limited lifetime warranty. Okay, so there's really not a whole lot to these. If you really think about it, they're just pieces of plastic, right? That's kind of what it is. Obviously, looking through reviews of what others have had to say, that definitely helped out my situation for sure. That's why I, again, decided to purchase these flares. What I do like is on the site, it actually has the instruction sheet So you're actually able to look through the instructions and you're able to see exactly what you're going to be working with before you even decide to purchase. So right here, this step of applying the rubber gasket, that definitely takes a little bit of time. Okay. However, this is what I did. I decided to bring everything into my kitchen area, and this was during football season last year, and I turned on football games and I simultaneously watched football while I was doing this, and it seemed like I did it in no time. It's not hard by any means. It's just, tedious. It's just something that is, it's definitely not fun. Let's just put it that way. You're not going to be enjoying yourself doing it, but it's doable. It's simple. Put some movies on or something like that, and then you'll get through it just fine. And then obviously, if you have the ability to use a wrench, ratcheting wrench, screwdriver, if you have the knowledge to use basic hand tools, then installing these rivets is not going to be a big deal either. Again, it's just something that takes a little bit of time because you have to individually install each rivet. Okay, so as we get to this portion here, it shows you how to install the front brackets underneath the truck here. So these brackets are actually going to line up underneath the truck in this area here. And here's a better picture of it right here. And the good news is you only have to do this in the front. I mean, I'm not saying that because it's hard, because again, it's easy as well. But in the rears, all you do is just take the hardware and then basically attach the hardware to the fender flares, and then you're just about done. Okay, but the instructions are clear. I was able to read through the instructions. I wasn't confused by anything. It shows you exactly where these holes are, shows you exactly the orientation of where you're supposed to apply the apply the hardware, etc., etc. Okay, and then obviously if you've got the factory mud flaps, they will have to be removed. Depending on how handy you are, you might be able to make it work if you make some adjustments, but I didn't feel like taking it that far. I had no desire to keep my mud flaps on, so I just took them off, and I'm good with it. Okay, and so this kind of shows you the rear that there are no mounting brackets like there are in the front. You just simply press them up against the truck and then apply the hardware, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so again, this is a product that I feel like it's not cheap by any means, but it's definitely something that will add protection. It will prevent a lot of slinging mud and flinging rocks over the side of your truck, and that's the main reasons why I got these. To protect my exterior a little bit, and then for looks, obviously, but I'm happy with them, definitely. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to part 2, and we will actually look at how these are installed on my truck. I will also provide, I didn't have a whole lot of issues with this, but I will show everybody the extra step that I took that a lot of smart people will take to protect their paint when these are installed. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we will get ready to head out to the truck now. So just stay tuned. We'll be right back, guys. All right, everyone. So now we're going to get to part 2 of the Rough Country Defender Pocket Fender Flares. So this is not going to be a very long part 2 because it doesn't need to be. I'll just show you kind of how the install looks on my truck. We'll try to get some good angles here for everyone. So that's the driver's side angle, and we'll go around to get a little passenger side as well. Okay, so now we'll get some close-up here. We'll look at the gasket here. As you guys can see, the gasket looks just fine. It's not ruptured or torn or faded or deteriorating in any way. You can see the installation hardware there, the installation hardware there. Right up here is where those front brackets are. It's simple, guys. There's not a whole lot of detail when it comes to the flares itself. Okay, but the most important thing I do want to discuss is right here. So if you guys look closely here, and you can see it, there's a little bit of a film sticking out here. So that is 3M paint protection film that you can get on Amazon. You can probably find it in some auto shop, wow, not auto shops, auto parts stores, and you might be able to find it at some hardware stores as well. But this is where the installation was time consuming. So you first had to install this, and then you had to mask off this area here, then you had to take the flare back off and then apply the paint protection film, and then ultimately put the flare back on. Okay, so doing that took a little bit of time, but it's worth it to help protect the paint. Some areas you can barely see it because it's just hiding itself so incredibly well. I'd recommend doing that, definitely. It's just some extra security you have for your paint, knowing that in the event that you take these off, your paint's not going to be completely trashed, and it'll be less maintenance that you'd have to do afterwards. Now, personally, I don't know why anyone would ever want to take these off. I just think they look so incredibly cool, but you know, you never know. Your taste might change, your interests might change. So just in case, you want to do that. Okay, so you can see how it, you know, pokes out a little bit here. Doesn't bother me because, again, you really don't see it, and I know what it's ultimately worth, and that's keeping the paint protected, right? So here, we'll go down kind of the side of the truck here, and you can see exactly how far out they stick from the truck itself. My wheels and tires have the way that the offset is, they stick out about 1.5 to 2 inches from like how the factory wheel and tire setup is. So the contour actually works really well with these fender flares. So everything matches up really, really well. What drives me nuts is when people get these fender flares and they keep like their factory wheels and tires, so it's all shoved into the inside of the truck and it just looks freaking awful. So luckily we don't have that issue here. So yeah, I think it makes the truck look really good. It gives it more of an aggressive style and protection. Since I've had these on since, I want to say, late January of this year, so 8-ish months roughly. I've been through some harsh winters. We had in the high desert, we had probably the wettest winter on record, between snow and rain and everything like that, and the amount of wind that I've had to go through. And these things are holding up just fine. They're not giving any issues, and I don't even believe that they have cracked anywhere from debris. So, you know, you can just see here how it sticks out here, and then where the side of the truck is, like, that definitely adds protection, and it does. So I'm really happy with it. So I will let everybody know if anything changes. I'll let you know if the gaskets deteriorate or if I have any issues with these things. Okay, so I guess at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and sign off here. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe in the event that you guys want to contribute. My Buy Me a Coffee is in my About section on my channel. Also, please visit my Etsy shop, Johnny by Adam. I sell digital paper products that can be used for arts and crafts, scrapbooking, etc., etc. Anything that you're willing to provide is only going to continue to help out this channel. Okay, so until next time, I'm going to sign off. See you later, guys.